Welcome to IELTS Listening. Today we study IELTS 18 Test 4 Part 1, Job Details from an Employment Agency. This part has 10 questions. They are all note or form completion. Remember the word limit, one word and or a number. Part 1 has only one way to find answers, keyword location. All questions appear in the same order as the recording. 3 key strategies. First, predict the type of answer. Second, catch the location words. Third, watch numbers, spelling, and format changes. This is a job enquiry phone call. Julie receives a call from Greg, who works at an employment agency. She learns about a receptionist job. The first part of the conversation talks about the job basics and location. It covers questions 1 to 3, mostly in the first 4 turns. The second part talks about the specific job duties. It covers questions 4 to 7, mainly in the middle turns. The third part talks about working hours and job requirements. It covers questions 8 to 10, and the answers appear in the final turns. The heat map shows that questions 1 to 3 are in the first part, questions 4 to 7 in the second part, and questions 8 to 10 in the third part. Watch out for 3 traps: address spelling, number format changes, and correction distractors, where the speaker changes an answer. Okay, now let's go through each question. You may want to pause the video and predict each answer using the notes. Look at the notes. There is a blank after role. We need to write a job title. Before listening, predict that this blank is a type of job or position. The word role in the notes means the same as position. When Greg says position for a receptionist, the answer is coming. Greg clearly says a position for a receptionist. The word receptionist is spoken directly, so we can copy it into the blank. So the answer for question 1 is receptionist, which means a person who welcomes guests. Fill it in. For question 2, the blank sits between fordham and center. We need a word to describe what kind of center it is. Press pause and try to predict. Look at the notes. Fordham, center. We expect a type word. When Greg talks about the job location, listen for the word just before center. Greg says, "It's at the medical center there." The word directly before center is medical, so the answer is medical. Don't be misled by the earlier sports center. So the answer is medical. Fill in the blank. Remember to use capital letters. For question 3, you need to write the name of a road. The recording will spell it out, so pause and think about what kind of word is needed. The blank comes before the word road, so you need a road name. Listen for near the station. The answer comes right after that. The speaker asks where exactly it is. After hearing near the station, you hear Chaston's Road, and the answer is in that sentence. The recording spells it out. Chaston's. Do not guess from sound alone. Note the A and O and the final S. So the blank is Chaston's. Remember the spelling. Chaston's. Question 4 asks you to complete a noun between making and reorganizing. As Greg describes his duties, listen for the word that fits this blank. The clue words are making and reorganizing. When you hear dealing with inquiries, keep listening for the next duty in Greg's answer. Greg says making appointments, and rescheduling them matches reorganizing them, so the answer is appointments. Do not write inquiries. So the answer is appointments. Write it in the blank exactly as you hear it. For question 5, we need to fill in one duty. The notes say maintaining the internal ... Listen for the word that means keeping something up to date. When listening, Greg says another of your duties. Then he says keeping the center's database up to date. Database is the answer. The recording says database directly, so we write the exact word. Remember the spelling. D-A-T-A-B-A-S. For question 5, the answer is database. Fill it in the blank. This question asks about something essential for the job. The word essential tells us to listen for a quality or experience. Pause and predict first. Before the blank, the word is essential. When you hear require, it has a similar meaning, and the answer is coming soon. In the recording, Greg says, one thing they do require is someone with experience. So the answer is experience. Write it exactly as you hear it. Confirmed. Q6 is experience. Spell it E-X-P-E-R-I-E-N-C-E. For question 7, you need to write an adjective that describes a personal quality. The blank comes after a calm and, so listen for another word that describes how someone behaves. Pause and predict first. Before the blank, the word is a calm and. When you hear require, it has a similar meaning, and the answer is coming soon. In the recording, Greg says, one thing they do require is someone with experience. So the answer is experience. Write it exactly as you hear it. So question 6 is experience. Spell it E-X-P-E-R-I-E-N-C-E. For question 7, you need to write an adjective that describes a personal quality. The blank comes after a calm and, so listen for another word that describes how someone behaves. The question says, a calm and 7 manner. Because calm is already given, listen for another positive adjective. Use interacting with the public as your anchor phrase in the recording. The recording says, stay calm and at the same time be confident. So the adjective paired with calm is confident. Do not write calm again. Write confident exactly as you hear it. So question 7 is confident. Remember the spelling, C-O-N-F-I-D-E-N-T. Fill it in the blank. Question 8 in the notes asks what kind of job this is. The blank comes after A and before job, so we predict the answer is an adjective describing the job. Look at the clue words a, job in the notes. The blank needs an adjective. When you hear they're looking for someone, the answer is coming. Greg first says it is not a permanent job, then he corrects it. There is a trap here. Greg first says permanent, but he uses isn't before it, and then he says it's temporary, so the correct answer is temporary, not permanent. Write temporary in the blank, spelling T-E-M-P-O-R-A-R-Y. Question 9 asks for the finishing time in the notes, from 7:45 a.m. to what p.m. time? There is a formatting issue here. Pause and think about the time format. The blank is followed by p.m., so we need a p.m. finish time. When you hear the word finish, the time that follows is your answer. Listen, Julie asks what time she would finish, and Greg replies 1:15. Scroll to this turn and highlight the key phrase. Greg says 1:15 as a spoken time. In the notes, we write it as a number, so we should write 1.15, not 1:15 or 13:15. The question requires one word or a number, and 1.15 is one number. So the answer is 1.15. Fill it in the blank. It means 1:15 in the afternoon. Question 10 is at the end of the note. It asks what facility is available. The answer should be a noun, and it is probably a parking area. Pause the video and predict the answer before you listen. The clue is available on site. In the recording, Greg says parking available for staff, which means the same. Bus is also mentioned, but the question says on site, so do not get confused. Greg says, yes, there is, and it's also on a bus route. The key word is parking. You can write it directly, spelling P-A-R-K-I-N-G. So the answer is parking. Do not choose bus because the question asks about an on-site facility. Let's summarize the question patterns and core vocabulary in this IELTS listening part 1. This question tested the Garcius engine. This is a classic listening trap. In questions 9, watch out for similar interference patterns. Overall, keep your rhythm for listening gap fills. Move on if you miss one. Next, let's review the key vocabulary from this recording. Question 1 answer, receptionist. Pay attention to its pronunciation and spelling. Question 2 answer, medical. Pay attention to its pronunciation and spelling. Question 3 answer, chastens. Pay attention to its pronunciation and spelling. Question 4 answer, appointments. Pay attention to its pronunciation and spelling. Question 5 answer, database. Pay attention to its pronunciation and spelling. Question 6 answer, experience. Pay attention to its pronunciation and spelling. Question 7 answer, confident. Pay attention to its pronunciation and spelling. Question 8 answer, temporary. Pay attention to its pronunciation and spelling. Question 9 answer, 1.15. Pay attention to its pronunciation and spelling. Question 10 answer, parking. Pay attention to its pronunciation and spelling. Congratulations on completing this IELTS listening intensive study. See you next time.